It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
It's Steph and Gary without Steph today. Welcome to rAVe TV. I'm going to have to handle this totally on myself. And this is always more difficult because I have a great team behind me. And unfortunately, my team's not here today. My team member, Steph, because she's at Zoomtopia, and we're going to go live to her in just a minute. But I hope y'all are doing well. I just want to remind you what you're looking at, depending on where you are. If you're on my LinkedIn profile, this is actually live. This is me live. It is 12:02 p.m. I'm coming to you live on the East Coast. This is rAVe TV, the industry's only live TV show. And we come to you live on ravepubs.com. We come to you on LinkedIn. We come to you on Instagram, on Facebook, on all the different platforms. Of course, you can always see us on YouTube at youtube.com/ravepubs. And we do a quick 30-minute wrap up of what's going on in the industry. And we do that live because we think that, we want to make sure that that we're not giving you old news. So we're going to talk about kind of new news stuff. And I want to start with Zoomtopia because Steph is actually at Zoomtopia. And we actually have a few people at Zoomtopia. And I don't know if you've been paying much attention. I mean, it's kind of like a small show, but it's all about Zoom. So it's like Zoom's own show. They have a keynote. There's also a trade show floor. And all the major UC brands tend to introduce products in and around Zoomtopia that are specific for Zoom itself. So let me show you. Let me actually start with our Instagram story, because our team did a really good job sort of documenting what's going on at the show through our Instagram story. So hopefully you can see this. I cannot see myself right now, but I know that you're seeing this Instagram. These are some live shots of what's going on in the show floor.
I did it.
And this is right.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
See,
I'm so happy to see you all here. This is the best moment.
There's a lot of people that they bring in through Zoom at Zoomtopia.
All right,
and a lot
let's
of
kick
people
things off with a big announcement.
Intelligent
I'm
Director
so
was a new
excited
feature
to tell you.
introduced at the show live
Zoom
during the keynote.
Has created the first
Also, and we'll
fully
talk about that.
original,
There's a bunch of brands actually
100%
show
electric
products with that.
crystal
We're going to talk
ball.
about this week. Also, a bunch of new technology incorporated in the platform. But the most interesting new thing that they showed, I think, is they've basically created their own version of Google Docs. And I'm not sure why this screen is doing this to you. So I'm going to ask to go back live. And if you want to actually check out what our team saw at Zoomtopia, all you got to do is go to ravepubs.com on Instagram. Just go to Instagram, go to ravepubs, follow us on Instagram, watch our story. But some interesting things from the keynote yesterday was Intelligent Director was officially launched. That's the ability to have one camera in a room or even multiple cameras in the room, break the image up into multiple images so that you can see everyone sitting around a table in a conference room or even sitting behind the table in a conference room when you're a remote participant. This was some features. Some of these features were built into some of the other platforms like Jabra and Logitech, but now it's built into the platform itself, Zoom. So you can actually use unintelligent cameras to actually do intelligent breaking up the image into different in breaking up the image. So imagine if you have 10 people sitting around a conference room, you can actually show individual pictures of each one of those, individual shots, each one of those to a remote viewer, thanks to Intelligent Director from Zoom. Another thing they did, as I mentioned, is they got into the Google Docs market. So they've already had mail, they've had calendaring, they've had note sharing, they've had collaboration, but now they've got a full suite of docs, which include presentation templates, includes like a Word type product in there. So they're really going after Microsoft. They've decided that they're going to try to take the enterprise business away from Microsoft. It's going to be an uphill battle because a lot of companies have been using Microsoft for 20 years just because they're sort of like the 800-pound gorilla in the room. But Zoom's got to start somewhere. Google's done it in the K through 12 market. K through 12 does not use Microsoft. K through 12 uses Google, Google Classroom, and all the Google G Suite products are now Google Suite products. And in higher education, Google's making its way into higher education. If you talk to any of your kids that are going to college, they're using Gmail and they're using Google Docs as their primary methodology for building presentations and doing papers and things like that. Zoom, a lot of college students had to use Zoom because of the pandemic. So why not just add that functionality there? So that's kind of interesting. So these are some of the things that we're talking about. I'm going to actually, we are ready. We have Steph queued up. We are actually going to do a live show floor tour now from Zoomtopia. So you're actually going to see what the show floor looks like. So Steph, I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to do this tour because I got a lot to cover today, including we're going to actually have the guy who runs all of ISE in the entire world. The biggest trade show in our industry is going to come on live with me right out of this. So take it away, Steph, and give us a tour of the show floor tour of the Zoomtopia.
Hey, Gary. Thank you so much for passing the mic to me. I'm here at Zoomtopia 2023. My name's Steph Beckett, if you don't know me. But yeah, I'm really excited to be at Zoomtopia. I'm here on the show floor right now, but there's kind of like a few different pieces and parts of Zoomtopia, but this is the part that I usually spend the most time in. This is my second time here. Zoomtopia has a lot of really fun stuff. As you can see behind me, there is a company called Selfie that actually prints pictures of you onto a cookie. But beside the fun stuff like that, Zoomtopia has so many manufacturers and partners of Zoom who are here showcasing the different things that they have. So right here, I'm going to check out rAVe really quick. So rAVe has been a pretty good partner to Zoom probably since its inception or a little after. So they're here showing its HDL 310, which is a speaker VAR that incorporates its microphone mist technology. So you just kind of put that at whatever side of the room that your display is on. In a meeting room, you can put it above or below. But it utilizes microphone mist technology, which basically means that it shoots out little tiny sensors all over the room so that it picks up your voice and plays the voice of others from wherever they are in that meeting room, and they sound just as loud as if they're right there or far from there. So the 310 is kind of for that medium-sized meeting room, but yeah, they're kind of showing how you can use that in a hybrid situation. So it's showing people from the show floor, and then on the other end there are people in a conference room. So very cool. Shox is also here. Shox has been to a lot of the same trade shows that we normally cover. They have gotten pretty big for using bone conduction in all of their headphones. They were actually for people who run or do sports to kind of keep their headphones on, and they're actually really comfortable. But during COVID, they developed a headset that has since gained huge notoriety, and they're actually really great. I have one, and I also have a big head. So wearing normal headphones or a headset kind of hurts my head after a while, but these are great. They don't hurt at all. I've been in like a 2-hour meeting and my head did not hurt after it. And they actually sound really good as well. So big fan of Shox. So I'm going to take you over here to the Zoom booth because, you know, what would Zoomtopia be without Zoom? Zoom is showing a ton of new functionalities, new updates, new everything. So as with everything, Zoom has started to incorporate AI into its application. And what's big about this is it is going to be free for people who are paid users. It's going to be something that is incorporated directly into the app. They announced that today during the keynote. So, you know, if you have to step away from a meeting, turn your camera off, but you're still there, you can come back and ask the AI, hey, what did I miss? And it tells you somehow, and it knows. So, you know, the future, it's really cool. I'm actually really excited to see what this functionality can do, how we can incorporate it and use it in our meetings at rAVe. But yeah, it was pretty exciting. So a few of the other updates, they announced Zoom Docs today, which is kind of how you can use and create documents and save them within Zoom. Very exciting. So this is kind of a little bit about what it's going to do. So I think this is Zoom's answer to really becoming that all-in-one application. So you can join meetings, you can send emails. Obviously there is team chat, so you can chat with people who work with you. And yeah, now you can create, save, collaborate on documents just directly within the Zoom app. Over here, Zoom is doing a few demos of its intelligent director. So this is kind of Zoom's answer to the hybrid work problem. all about just kind of, all right, how do we put everyone on an equal playing field in a meeting room? And so this is how they do that. As you can see in this meeting demo they're doing right now, there's the view of people at the entire conference room, but then it puts everyone in their own square. So this is a functionality that is created directly through Zoom rather than created through the hardware itself, because that's most of how we've seen this type of technology incorporated in AV. So hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of a few of my favorite booths here. Gary, I'm going to send it back to you, and thanks everyone for watching. Once again, I'm Steph Beckett, and happy Zoomtopia 2023.
As promised, we are back live on rAVe TV, and I want to welcome Mike Blackman. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Gary. Sorry about the noise in the background here. I'm in the middle of Barcelona right now. A lot of preparation for the show. I'm actually at the Casa Seat, which is the top of the Paseo de Gracia. You know, Seat created this building here to actually show whatever their new cars are, and it's actually an event space as well. Okay. So I've done a couple of presentations here, but nice location. You can see the BCN in the background. Yeah. Shows where I am.
Let me tell you, this is going to be. I'm super excited, and I'm proud to be partnered with your team. All that y'all have done over the last 20 years. This is going to be the 20th year of ISE, and it's going to be in Barcelona. It'll be the third year technically in Barcelona.
Well, the third year, kind of. You know, we did in 21. We did that small show as a sign to the city to actually say, hey, look, you know, we're going to be there, and here's a little taste of it. 22 was our first year of recovering back, when we had a good audience. Yeah. But this year was our first real year back, where we saw a fantastic audience. We saw a number of exhibitors going back to normal. This was a real ISE in 2023. Yeah,
and I think 2024 is going to set records. And let's talk about that, because today, literally at this very moment, registration just opened for 2024. We scan that QR code, you go to the registration link, and we actually have a free code, Mike. Thanks to your team, you guys gave us a free code to use. If you use that code rAVE Europe, RAVE Europe, you get free admission into the ISE show, which is the biggest trade show in the world. Mike, it includes home AV because you have your partner CEDIA, includes professional AV, includes broadcast and streaming too. Let's not forget about that, Mike. That must be something you're excited about.
Absolutely. You know, what we're seeing is our industry moving more and more towards providing fantastic solutions for content creation. And due to exhibitor demand, we actually created one whole focused on content creation. That means it starts from, you know, YouTubers, podcasters, all the way up to filmmakers and everything in between.
And we also have obviously have virtual production spread all over the show floor.
Yeah.
This past show, there was probably 15 different little mini exhibits of different ways of doing virtual production, but it wasn't all just broadcast production. It was also corporate production. So that's really exciting to see. And
you're going to see even more of that as well.
Yeah. So. And I think you got some surprises planned too around that. I know that Zoomtopia is going on right now. A big focus of our industry has been UC. You're the first show to actually have a UCC sort of pavilion / hall. We can expect more of that in 2024.
Absolutely. It's grown. It was one of the first halls that sold out, and we have all the major names who are involved in the UC landscape. So again, if UC is what you're trying to find, what you're trying to see, then you're going to get the complete hemisphere there as well. So and it's grown. I think next year we're actually going to have a challenge to actually try and find more space to accommodate the UC part of the show.
And by the way, I want to put a call out to everyone who has not gone to ISE in the last few years. Go back to the show. Number one, it's in Barcelona now. It's warmer. It's actually a great location. The hall is easy to navigate. It's big, wide open spaces. You're not having to go through the little teeny hallways like you did at the rAVe, which I loved at Amsterdam, but let's be honest, Barcelona has really done a phenomenal job with the show. The hotel offerings there's a lot more options. There's a lot more places to stay in and around the show, but also away from the show and still get to the show quickly. And the food, oh my God, the food, Mike, is incredible in Barcelona.
I'm having a real weight problem, you know, because the food is really fantastic. I'm sitting here right now in 27 degrees of fantastic weather. We won't have 27 degrees in January and February, but you're probably going to be seeing, you know, and we're talking centigrade here, not Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
You're probably going to see weather of around, say, 18 degrees on average, which is, you know, unfortunately in Amsterdam we saw freezing weather. This is not going to be t-shirts, but it's not going to be winter coats.
Yeah.
So the city, yeah, the city has a lot to offer. We've had fantastic support from the city government, from the regional government, from all the major associations in the city to actually welcome ISE and ISE's community with exhibitors and attendees. So the phenomenal support, great for the show. Free transportation. If you don't have to take taxis, the taxis are actually quite cheap. But what we've done, we've secured a deal with the city to actually give free transportation on the public transport, metro and buses. You pick up your pass at the show, and then you can travel free of charge for the 4 show days in and around the city. So that's a gift from the city to actually make things easier for all of our attendees and exhibitors.
Okay, check it out. Scan that QR code. Go use our code, rAVe Europe. We're going to be there. We're going to do live broadcasts every single day on the show floor. We're going to shoot videos there, but there's nothing better than being on that show floor. I promise you, if you go to ISE, you will go back over and over and over again. It is great. And you have to wait. If you don't go, you have to wait another 4 months to see the new products because InfoCom's not until June. So this is a great time. You know, you're past all the holidays, back in business time, but also, you know, it is a great little vacation. I mean, you could go for a couple days to the show, although I don't think you'd see the whole show floor in a couple days. But you say did 3 days, you'd see most of the show floor, and then you can have a little holiday before you fly home. Mike, thank you very much for joining me live. But I want to ask you if there's any other thing that you're doing new that you want to talk about.
Oh, we have got some fantastic things going on at the show that be going on. Last year, we had a keynote from Stephen Nuttall for the America's Cup Challenge. And we're going to have the America's Cup back again. They actually hold the land speed record for an unmotorized vehicle. They've created a land yacht based on the same technology they use for the boats. Carbon, etc. We're going to have that at the show for a lot of content around the America's Cup and showing support for that event here. We got some fantastic keynotes. We'll announce all of them later, but I'm going to give you a little sneak at a premiere for you on that, in that we're going to have Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy. She's going to be director of the next Star Wars film. And she's going to be doing our opening keynote.
What?
Our first woman keynote.
Awesome. What?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
we got some even more exciting keynotes coming up as well on each day. So a lot going on. There's so much. We need the whole of your show to tell you what's going to be happening at ISE 2024.
Okay.
The show's going to be bigger.
Okay,
it's already almost 20% bigger.
So Mike knows I'm a giant Star Wars fan. There's probably no other person in the industry has 2 Star Wars tattoos on their hands. And he just like casually drops that the director of the next Star Wars movie is going to be the keynote speaker, as if it's not a big deal. Mike, this is bigger than anything else going on at the show. You realize that, right? Oh my God.
Oh, we know who which knobs to turn and who to hit on this. So we said, let's get something different. Yeah.
Let me tell you, this is going to be big. You know, obviously digital cinema changed our industry. It made, made projectors a lot different, but now also digital cinemas are going to include LED. So I think that's a good timing wise. I think this is phenomenal. Mike, I appreciate it. I know you're at a conference. I know you had to just pop in here and do this as a favor for us. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everything you've done in the industry. And man, have we come a long way since that first show in Switzerland.
Wow.
I love Switzerland. Wow.
Well, this is 20 years. I mean, there's lots more. We're going to be telling a lot more about what we're doing in the city, in around Barcelona during the show. Just watch this space, Gary. We're going to keep you informed. So keep coming back to rAVe and launch, and you'll learn more about what's happening at ISE 2024.
Please. Thank you very much, Mike. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your event. And boy, that was a great tease. Like, if you're not like, that's incredible. Okay, let's get back to the other news out here. I'm just stunned. I'm stunned. I mean, the director of the next Star Wars is going to be the keynote. That's he buried the lead. That should have been the lead. That was the lead. That's a thing. So, okay, look, let's get back. We are, look, we want to help promote Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Look, if you have not heard of cybersecurity or why we care about cybersecurity, it's affecting lots of brands out there. There are a lot of holes that you got to patch in your network, and our industry can help do that. A lot of companies in our industry are actually already in the cybersecurity market. Companies like TD SYNNEX and a lot of integrators offer products for security. So be aware of that. That story is on our website. Anything that we talk about today, you can scan that QR code and learn more information. Our October temperature check is all about security. We want to know what you think about security. It's 3 quick questions. It'll take you less than 30 seconds to take. Scan the QR code. Go take our October temperature check. Speaking of the temperature check, the September results are in. I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to see sort of like what we cover and how simple this really is. But in September, we covered the house of worship market, and we learned that less than 10% of the market, or less than 15% of the market, is doing house of worship. But we also learned that the biggest concern about house of worships from our September temperature check was the budget constraints. They don't have a lot of money, but they're very interested in emerging technologies. That's what we learned. And so therefore, if you're interested in getting that segment of the market, depending on what kind of products and services you offer, that might be interesting for you. And speaking of stuff that might be interesting to you, rAVe, who's one of our 3 big sponsors of our weekly TV show, rAVe TV, has a new rAVe Care warranty program offering 5 years of protection on all the rAVe cameras, so all their rAVe line products, and that includes the new MT30N, which is the new NDI box. So that includes everything that's rAVe related. If you're interested in seeing all those products that are covered by a 5-year warranty, go to avereusa.com/pro-AV. And of course, you can scan that QR code in the corner here. And you can learn all about what rAVe has to offer. Okay, continuing the Zoomtopia theme, I want to talk about some products that were launched in and around Zoomtopia. Extron has a booth at Zoomtopia. What's funny is Steph texted me last night and says, "I've never seen an Extron booth," so she was all excited to see one. Extron introduced Zoom Room controllers compatible with their control system and integrated touch panels for Zoom Room. Those are Zoom certified, and they are available now from Extron. Those are available. rAVe added camera zones for the HDL 410 using the Inogene Cam 230 multi-camera switcher. They call it a selector, but I call it a switcher. I like the word switcher better. But what's cool about that is you can put lots of cameras in a room and you can control it through the Inogene switch, and rAVe will follow them around. So as each camera focuses on where a presenter might be, rAVe's microphone mist technology will highlight that area, so you can have multiple zones in a room now. Also at Zoomtopia, Crestron introduced the Video Bar 70, and it is now Zoom certified. I believe it's also Team certified, but they also at Zoomtopia launched a Zoom Room phone. That entire story and everything that they talked about, I thought we had a graphic for that, but maybe not, is all at ravepubs.com. Scan that QR code. And then finally, HP launched a new PolyDirector Studio bundle for Zoom Rooms at Zoomtopia. It includes Intelligent Director. Now remember, Intelligent Director is that feature that used to be an external feature that each of the camera companies had to break up so you put one camera in a room and it can slice up the image into multiple images, and you actually, as a remote viewer, can see each person's reactions and sort of how they're participating in a meeting. That's built into the Zoom platform now, thanks to Zoomtopia's launch of Intelligent Director built into the platform. So among all of these UCC things that are going on, as you know, we've been covering a lot about Legrand. Legrand's an interesting company because they have the ability to pull things together from disparate places, right? They own a bunch of different kinds of companies. They own C2G, right, which makes all sorts of video and audio accessories. They own Middle Atlantic. They own Daylight. They own Luxel, which, by the way, makes network switches, which, everything's going AV over IP. They own a lot of different things among, Vadio, the company that invented USB cameras, as an example. And I've asked 2 gentlemen from Legrand to join me here, and we're going to pop them on. We got John Robson who's a regional solutions and consultants manager, and David Albright, who is the regional business development manager for hybrid collaboration and learning. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing today?
Good morning from Seattle.
Great, Gary. Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Good to see you. You were actually on live. I know that we're having some weird things about with our little thing in the. If you were in the green room, you know what we're talking about. But these gentlemen know what we're talking about. There's some weird stuff going on there. But we are on live.
Good morning.
We've written a couple stories recently about y'all introducing Microsoft Teams Room certified bundles, which I think are really cool. I don't know if you're here to talk about those today, but I think those are pretty awesome. So I don't know if you'd at least give a little shout out about those today.
Yeah. John, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Sorry that my background isn't as nice as Mike's.
We are all used to all
But
types
it's
of
an office
background
under
nowadays, right?
painting right now, so it's not exactly a Teams room. I'm not sure where you'd like to start, but this has been a 2-year relationship with Microsoft in terms of looking at the conference rooms in a different way. It first started off with them doing it for internal purposes, which was to really transform the conference rooms. And if we go back a little bit further than that, we all remember during the COVID days and now after the COVID days, how do we get people to come back to work?
Yeah.
How do we get people to come back in those offices? And with all of us using conferencing even more so now, and even after COVID, it was important that Microsoft have a different experience for their employees when they came back.
Yep.
So this was the evolution of team software, but beyond team software was how do we create the whole experience around Teams? So it's I almost liken it to like the home theater in a box or a conference room in a box. But the whole idea here is how do we create that environment within a Teams experience? So that was the development of their own internal use. But now what we just launched as a press release and so forth was they started realizing that their customers that buy the Teams software were quite enthused by these rooms that were being used internally. And there's about 40 different archetypes that Microsoft uses internally. So the idea was, okay, well, let's put an initiative in place that brings, Fortune 500 type customers to come in and experience these Teams rooms at Microsoft, but let's get our partners involved so that we can create external access outside of Microsoft based on some of these archetypes, which is what brought us in. So this has been about 2 years in the making.
Wow.
I could keep going a little bit here, but the idea here is get that exposure, get that experience in the path of these Fortune 500 customers with some very unique designs. And I'll let Dave speak to that.
Yeah.
And by the way, Dave, before we actually, if you scan the QR code, we actually have a direct link into your page that includes all of these different bundles and solutions that you have available. So Dave, go ahead.
Yeah. The really was fun bringing together products from the depth and breadth of Legrand into these rooms at Microsoft, reaching across the business, pulling in solutions from our electrical wiring systems division and wire mold with furniture power, pulling in acoustic solutions from Focal Point, which was one of our lighting sector businesses. Focal Point did some custom acoustic wall treatment in the 2 rooms that we're in the process of commercializing. And so it was all just really fruitful collaboration with Sam Albert, who's the head product manager for the Hive within Microsoft's digital group. And so, looking forward, as John said, the purpose, the intent was to build out these showcase rooms at Microsoft for them to use in a lot of their forthcoming Teams rooms oriented content, bring their Fortune 500 type customers through these spaces to highlight partners like Legrand that they can work with to realize these idealized signature Teams room environments.
Yeah, and you have more than one option. Like you have kind of a, I wouldn't say necessarily good, better, best, because they're all good. I want to pop up really quickly, and I'm going to show you this site, because if you click that QR code, if you can share the screen really quickly to our producer back there, Carrie. If you scan that QR code, then it'll take you directly to a Legrand AV site that has the Microsoft Teams Rooms solutions on it.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that'll pop up in just a second. It takes a bit because I didn't warn her ahead of time that I was going to do this. And so you can see what's on here is that you're giving them all the different, let me accept the cookies here, give them all the different options here for kind of a small room, a medium-sized room, and a large room. And you know, one is a Surface Hub room, one's a medium signature room, and then you have the large room, which is at the top here. And then you have all the different accessory products that are used in there and how they're used. And you know, it's interesting because we can stop sharing now, but it's interesting because there's not very many companies that could do this. I think what's interesting is that y'all pulled together the different disparate groups in your own organization to actually pull this off. And I think that is kind of unique to Legrand.
Yeah, and that was certainly where Microsoft saw us being a unique partner and being able to pull together, you know, the furniture to be the glue in the room, you know, the Surface Hub room, highlighting the new Surface Hub 3 with the Teams room capabilities. Wanted that to be really accessibility driven. So that's on a height adjustable Chief electric stand. So yeah, really brought a lot of different flavors from across Legrand into these rooms that highlight the kind of the depth and breadth of what Legrand brings to, you know, a Fortune 500 type enterprise end user looking to deploy these kinds of spaces.
And in there, you also have a case study that I think everybody should take a look at. And you'll notice that everything was curved, facing the screen, so that everybody's getting a front row view of everything that's going on, which is, you know, based on that front row concept that Microsoft has. And obviously they've innovated the industry, John, because they've gone from having every display in the world be 16 by 9 to now we have 21 by 9 and even 32 by 9 aspect ratio screens coming out. So that's kind of changed everything. And I know that, John, y'all were a big part of making sure that spaces are kind of redesigned. Like we're not designing spaces the same way because we have a wider canvas now.
Yeah, and you know, the 21.9 is definitely that was probably the biggest breakthrough that we made with Microsoft because of our ability through daylight to turn that around, have them test it, experiment with it, fall in love with it, and just keep going with it. And that kind of accelerated this whole process. And of course, there's other manufacturers as well that got involved. But as David was saying, we had that ability to really create almost like a one-stop shop for a Teams room, making it easier for not only the the Fortune 500 type customers, but also for the integrators to be able to order that in. The other part here is we have the global reach as well. So any kind of specification with the Fortune 500 is typically a global spec. And of course, we're able to work globally to get that off the ground. And just some key things that make that Teams room experience better is that larger screen, and it's not just the daylight screen; it's also the actual displays themselves, displays. The other part is when you're remediating a room, the ability to remediate it with the lowest possible cost, because it'd be very expensive, as David was mentioning. The rooms are no longer like that sort of rectangle room. Now you're putting things to the side so you can create that meeting equity. And the ability through products like Connect Track that we have, make that very simple. So there was things like that were challenges along the way, but we were really able to deliver on a lot of things to really make these things very executable in the marketplace. And the other part here is that Microsoft is not interested in the hardware experience. So they're not, but they are promoting it as if you truly want a Teams room experience.
Here's the right way to do it.
This is how you can make that happen.
Yeah. And you have everything there. So scan the QR code, go to the Legrand site. And Legrand, thanks to both of y'all for being a sponsor of rAVe TV. This could not happen without y'all sponsorship. So thank you very much for joining me today. And
thank you.
And in fact, we actually wrote up a story recently on these new products from Legrand that's on our website right now at ravepubs.com. They launched the whole suite of Microsoft Teams Rooms products, as you saw, that kind of a small, medium, and large on our website. There's the story right there. If you want to check it out, it's on ravepubs.com right now. Of course, all the stuff that we're talking about today, you can find on our QR code. In other Zoomtopia news, another one of our sponsors, rAVe, launched the Cam 50 Pro 3 and a new video bar. Both are now Zoom certified. Both were actually launched yesterday at Zoomtopia. You can find that story on our website as well at ravepubs.com. And we've got a message from our third sponsor, Shure, who's doing some amazing things with audio and microphones in rooms. So check this out really quick. We'll come back, a couple of other quick stories, and we'll be done for the day. Give it a second here. Oh, should I just jump to the next story and then come back to that? Or do you want to wait? Okay, let's go to the next story. We'll come back to that video in just a second. Okay, I want everyone to read this piece from Jeff Moto from ViewSonic. It's called Best Practices for More Inclusive Meetings. I love this piece. It's kind of a primer for like how to kind of look at meetings differently than we've looked at them in the past. It is from Jeff Moto from ViewSonic. Is on our website right now at ravepubs.com. There's a view of it right there. Check it out by scanning the QR code. And speaking of ViewSonic, they just launched a new ViewBoard IFP 52.2 series. It's now certified under Android's Enterprise Devices Licensing Agreement. And of course, anything that's Android is going to have that agreement at some point in time. But this product is aimed at schools, but could be used in corporations. But if you sell to schools, this is a product you probably want to be checking out. Carrie, do we have that Shure video? Okay, let's run the Shure video really quickly. Wow, that was caught me doing something. Okay, there's two quick case studies I want to cover really quickly. One is Samsung installed the wall at Lucid, which is a new electric car company, and it looks stunning. It's a case study we wrote up and put on our website. This is a great application because in this case, they're not just using it to show off the car, but they're actually using it as a design model piece as well. So you can actually use it with VR and some cool things there too. And then also I want to talk about FuzzBuzz Technologies integrated Equinox with their Cycle Studio, and they actually used scalable technologies to image map and kind of build this larger image. As you can see, it's larger than 16:9. It's probably two projectors, 32:9. Scalable Technologies does all the work there, and that case study is on our website. These are two products that could easily be sold by any integrator in AV. So check out those case studies at ravepubs.com or scan our QR code. I want to thank all of you for watching and hanging in there. It's a little longer than our normal show, but we had a lot to cover. We had ISE on live, and we had Legrand talking about their Microsoft Teams rooms. Interesting because Zoomtopia is going on right now, so everyone's talking about UCC, so perfect timing from Legrand. Thank you very much for joining me today. Steph will be back next week. She's right now, as you know, at Zoomtopia, but we'll have her back in the studio and back on rAVe TV next week. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a great day.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.